What's up, Internet? It is your boy, Eric Bandholz, back again with another awesome episode from Urban Beardsman. Hope all is going well on the other side of the Internet. Today, we're talking coffee. I love my coffee. Coffee is some good stuff. I want to talk specifically about the different ways to brew black coffee and really how to find your perfect coffee shop. So coffee can be prepared in almost an infinite amount of ways. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I'm going to talk about the ones that are most popular in the States. Up until about the 1970s, the most common way to prepare coffee was through a percolator. A percolator simply boils water and then has a recycling type of process where it'll spray the hot water down onto the grounds and then into the coffee brew. And then it just kind of does that over and over again. It gives like a really robust, almost overcooked type of process to it. Percolators aren't really as popular as they used to be. Purists will say they're great and you can really hone on to it, but it was replaced by the drip coffee. Everyone knows what drip coffee is. That's probably one of the most popular way. When you look at coffee shops, every coffee shop is going to have a drip coffee. That's kind of your standard bearer. Some coffee shops have instant coffee. Now these coffee shops are few and far between, thankfully. So a step up from the drip, the instant, the percolate is going to be your espresso. Now my personal recommendation when you're looking for coffee shops, don't go to a coffee shop unless they have an espresso machine. Because if they don't have an espresso machine, they're really not a coffee shop. They're just serving some drip coffee. Now, you could be going to a diner that has drip coffee, and that's cool, but you're getting the diner experience over the coffee shop experience. So the requirement for an entry-level coffee shop is always an espresso. And an espresso is where they have a steamed, pressurized water go through this puck. And that puck will create a super concentrated little bit of it's called an espresso, but a little bit of coffee. And then what happens if you want like a traditional black coffee, what you'll do is mix in some hot water to that and you'll get an Americano. So Americano is similar to a basic drip coffee in the sense that it's just like a black coffee. And it got the name Americano because that's how the veterans would order it when they were overseas during World War II in Italy and in Europe. So they called it an Americano for that. Like that's your basic, your espresso. Your espresso also makes like all those other drinks like the lattes, the mochas, all those start with an espresso. But a more premium coffee shop is going to offer something beyond that. And it's going to offer a pour-over type of coffee. And a pour-over type of coffee is essentially where it's a very hands-on process where they produce 1 cup of coffee by meticulously pouring over, controlling the process as to how they're pouring it, controlling the temperature of the water going in. It's a very exact process. And all these different preparations, there's no like one way is better than the other. It just brings out the different flavors and the different attributes of a coffee. And every coffee has different attributes from how they're roasted to how they're ground, and of course to how they're prepared. So a higher end coffee shop is going to have a pour over, the filter, and there's a lot of ways to do pour overs. There's also what's called a Chemex pot, and a Chemex is going to be a slightly larger type of pour over, and it'll usually serve about 2 versus a single pour over, which is just made for 1. Now there's another way to prepare it, which is called the French press. And that's similar in the sense that the water is steeped with the grounds in there, and then the device will push all the grounds to the bottom, and then you're left with a coffee. A step above pour overs, or maybe along the line of pour overs, is a cold brew. Now, a cold brew is typically made in a process of using room temperature water, and that steeps in the coffee grounds for like 8 to 24 hours. So this is a really long process. And what that does is it gives a really mellow, kind of like even keel, easygoing, less bitter type of coffee. It tastes great. And it creates a concentrate. So that's the coffee that it produces is it's similar to how an espresso is, in the sense that you would want to either water it down with ice, or you could add some hot water to it if you wanted it hot. But that's going to give you a nice, real mellow type of flavor. There are coffee shops that will do even more than a cold brew and a pour over and a Chemex and all that. And they'll do what's called an AeroPress. And an AeroPress is another type of pressurized system like an espresso, where it's poured in this little canister. They have a filter, and the grounds will go in a shot worth of grounds. And then you use the pressure, the hand pressure, to push the grounds to the bottom. So it's a great system if you want to produce an espresso-like shot from home. It's called AeroPress. And you find your coffee shop that provides all of that. And then from there, it's what is the atmosphere like? What is the Wi-Fi like? You know, like who's going there? All that stuff like adds to the ambience, you know, because it's not so much of just getting a coffee, drinking it, enjoying it, going on with your day. Because coffee is a wonderful, wonderful drink with so many complex flavors and aromas that when you get it from someone who cares about producing it, you really do get a much better experience. So tell me in the comments, which is your favorite way to have coffee prepared? How do you like to get it? What's your favorite drink? As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Cheers, and beer it on.